Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Launch No Code podcast. I'm your host, Natalie, and today I have with me Sandi, the founder of Small Business Tips. Hey, Sandi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me. Such a cool idea to do a podcast and also a YouTube live. This is so fun.
Yeah, and for those of you listening to the podcast now, Sandi and I are currently live on YouTube with our viewers, with our audience, so we can interact with them. So the first 20 minutes is all going to be podcast, then the last sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes is all going to be questions and answers from the audience. So if you are listening to this back, head over to the Launch No Code podcast on YouTube and you will be able to catch up on all the questions and answers there. So, Sandi, to kick us off, before I delve into your business and what you do and all the kind of no code tools that you use, I have one question that I ask every single person who comes on this show. And it is, how on earth did you find yourself in this bubble, in this space, this community that we now call no code?
Yeah, such a interesting it's so weird because how things come around. So I actually dabbled into no code last year of December, so not too long ago, like 4 or 5 months ago. That's it. I was on this call with a founder of another social media company app, and he was like, "What are you building? You should try no code." I was like, "What is no code?" And then he was like, "You should try Bubble, like Adalo, Glides, and everything like that, and see what type of platform would suit you the best when you're building up your actual platform." And he was like, "There is Bubble agency that you can literally outsource, and you can decrease the cost so much more, and it will just feel like it's literally built like in a code." I was like, "Wow, this is awesome." So that's how literally I got double into the no-code space. And of course, I met the founder of Copy AIs, and they introduced me to On Deck, Beyond Deck, and the KP director of On Deck No Code. And I just got into this amazing community of no coders.
Amazing. So you met Paul from Copy AI, is that what you said? How
Yeah,
did you
I'm.
guys,
Yeah.
yeah, how did you meet? Was that on Twitter or?
No, they got me on Twitter. So I met Chris actually first. So Chris saw me on TikTok, doing my small business tips, and he reached out to me, talking to me about the AI generator for copy, and I was like, wow, this is actually insanely awesome. I thought it would be gimmicky at first, but then when I actually use it, my whole entire website, like landing page, product, everything generated by Copy AI. So they brought me onto Twitter. They were like, "You gotta get on Twitter because there's all the tech company are, there's all the no coders." So they got me here, and the rest is history.
Wow. So you're actually the first no coder I've met that didn't start on Twitter, like didn't find the space on Twitter. You were almost like poached from TikTok and brought onto Twitter to join this community. And I think that's really interesting because I don't know if many no coders or entrepreneurs that are focused on no code know that much about TikTok. I mean, talk to me about your journey there. Like, how did you get involved with TikTok?
Yeah, it's super interesting because it all started back in quarantine. So I started out on TikTok end of May last year. So all throughout quarantine, I didn't have TikTok at all because I was that one person that didn't want to download TikTok. I'm like, nah, that's not for me. That just dance and all that. But then I forgot who got me download TikTok. And once I downloaded it, I was like, wow, this is actually really fascinating. And I can see the trend of how people have such a short attention span, and 15-second video, 30-second videos are such a great way to literally storytell, sell your products, express your knowledge all in one time. So
Yeah.
I was looking through the spaces on there. There was very lack of startup, social media tips, small business tips. And I kind of just got on there and share my journey as a small business owner because I started my first business at 19 doing dog bandana, collar, leashes. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my thing here. So I started just pointing at thing on air and putting text bubble on there, talking about how I started my business, why I started my business, what type of things did I learn throughout this journey. Yep, exactly. I learned point at things and that's it. And that's how it got me started. I talk about educational things mixed up with entertaining topics within TikTok.
Wow. So, I mean, you basically took something you were passionate about and
Yep.
then created content around it and shared it with people. I mean, how many followers do you have now on TikTok?
I have, I think, about 350K ish, I believe.
Wow. Okay, so just a few. Just a
Yeah.
few. I mean, that is amazing. That is completely amazing. I mean, I have a confession to make. I did join TikTok. Like when it first came over to the UK, so probably a little bit after you guys saw it over there. Um, I had to delete it because I became an addict,
Oh yeah.
basically. It's highly addictive. Now, I am very much into the dancing side of it. And before I knew it, I was watching dancing videos, started recording myself at about 11 p.m. at night, and didn't finish my TikTok video until 2 o'clock in the morning. And then
Oh,
after I watched it back, realized that I wasn't quite a, you know, 16 to 18-year-old young girl doing dance routines, and maybe I should not use this platform. I didn't necessarily feel it was for me, but I've now been noticing recently that there are lots of different people on there. And I mean, what's your opinion of this for people that maybe think that they're a bit too old for TikTok or it's not for them?
I think that it was, well, it was very young platform. Last year, I would say most of the people that are on TikTok are the very young, middle school, high schoolers. But now TikTok has really shifted and kind of rebrand its platform into a way where company want to come in, where older generations want to come in to understand the platform more. I think that when people think of TikTok, reason why they think is for younger people is because of the stigma, and they truly don't understand how the platform work yet. Same thing as Instagram and Facebook, right? Boomer didn't used to use Facebook. Now they're all over to Facebook. Same with Instagram. I think every single new platform out there, older generation tends to be a little afraid of it and also doesn't want to try it out, which is a no. I really just think that the newest platform, you should get on it right away because that's where you can grow the fastest because there's no competition at all.
Also, I mean, I think that's great advice. Like, go in there. If you find a spot, like, I mean, look at Clubhouse, the people that got onto Clubhouse super early and the amount of followers. I mean, we can and ah about what the future of Clubhouse is going to be now. Twitter Spaces is around, but I think in terms of a channel, you were smart. You got in there early. You got your audience on TikTok, and now you've created a business. And is the business as a result of having this community on TikTok? Would you say?
Yep, completely from TikTok. The reason being is that when we first started out, I was generating so much follower at first, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like I thought what I know is common knowledge, and everyone should be knowing these. So I really see the gap between a small business owner than the lack of knowledge and the community support that they have. So I really want to bridge that gap. So that's where small business teams came about. The actual company, the idea and the pain point was generated because of the pain point I see on TikTok.
Mm. I mean, that's so smart. So you were using your interest to then communicate with people who didn't have the same amount of knowledge about the subject that you did, but you thought even your knowledge wasn't necessarily that expert, and everyone should have that knowledge. And that kind of identified that pain point, which now you are addressing with what exactly? What have you built to address this pain point?
Yeah, so we built a community platform where we have membership, we offer courses, we offer template. We just released our e-learning platform actually, where there are videos from different founders, experts all around, and then 5 to 7 minutes video only because we know people are very short attention span across various different topics from marketing to research and development to meditations. And then we have a community built on Circle to support that e-learning portal.
Wow. Okay. So let's break it down. Let's talk through your stack. So I mean, at the front of your stack, and we have to mention this, the front of your marketing stack, we have TikTok. Like
Yep.
that is the basis of your original stack. Talk me through what other like tools are you using. You mentioned Copy AI for the copy on your
Yeah.
website.
Yep,
What?
Copy AI is such a great tool to generate everything. Like, because I don't copyright at all. That's one of my biggest weakness, to be honest. And hiring a copywriter can be really expensive, and we looked into
Mm.
it actually. So Copy AI was able to help us generate like the basis of it, and then we kind of go in there and fix it up into our own languages. So that's one of our stack, and then we use Typeform to generate all our wait lists. So we have Typeform there. We generated about one, I think almost 2K waitlist on there before we actually launched, and then built everything on Bubble from the e-learning portal, everything from scratch to with Bubble, and the Circle for community and VMO for video hosting.
So VMO for video hosting.
Yep.
Vimeo, do you mean?
Yeah, Vimeo.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a, to me makes sense in terms of a perfect stack. What about emails and comms, or how do you communicate? Is that through Circle, or do you have an email automation system that you use?
Yeah, so we use MailChimp, and then
Mm-hmm.
we sync everything with MailChimp through Bubble, Typeform, Circle. Everything is synced and Zapier through
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I'm visualizing this now and it makes complete sense. So a user sort of onboards
yeah,
through Typeform, they get introduced via, do they come onto Bubble next? And then they apply to become a member and get entered into Circle?
yeah.
So
So
they can,
yeah, basically what it goes is before you launch, they go through Typeform to enter the actual wait list. And once we launch, we announce it on TikTok, every social media, and also through MailChimp to their email list. Then they go on to a landing page that is built in Bubble. And then they go on through onboarding process directly on Bubble. If they want to funnel into the community aspect, once they click the community button, they'll bring them to a single sign-on through Circle.
amazing. I mean, wow. So, I mean, just for our audience here, do you come from a technology background?
No, I have no
Okay.
idea what UI UX was basically 6 months ago. So I learned everything from scratch.
Yeah. And I think that is the most important thing for our listeners and our viewers to remember is that you can join the no code world, have an idea, build the idea, launch the idea. If you have a community that wants the solution that you have, then you can do it. And you don't need to know one line of code. But one thing I'm going to pick up on here is you have said the word we quite a lot. Now, does this mean that this is a venture that you have a co-founder or someone that you're working with, or how's that working?
Yeah, so we have a team. So myself and a team of 5 people. We used to have a bigger team, but then we realized that we really don't need that many people to accomplish what we want to accomplish. So we shouldn't shrink it down, but we have amazing team behind, really doing a lot of day-to-day operation, product development, income stream, and maximize our marketing skills as well. So we do have a lot of people in the back end that are just supporting everything that we do.
Mm. And I think it's really important that we're honest with our listeners as well in terms of like the amount of support, because we have indie hackers that are obviously bootstrapping, that are running things completely by themselves, but you do have a team behind you.
Yep, I do. And I think that having a team is such a great way to kind of executing your dream, right? And sometimes you think that you need a lot of capital to get team. There is some other ways that you can bring on teams without having high capital.
Amazing. I mean, I'm sure our listeners would love to hear your thoughts on how do you hire a team, a talented team, without any capital?
Yeah, they need to first really see your visions. You need to have a very strong, wise missions and vision behind what you're building, the whole thing. And I found my whole team on TikTok. I literally posted something about I'm looking for interns. So I scout interns or contractor, freelancer, or I either give them partly of my shareholdings or I revenue share with them. So there are different tier of structure that we build out within our teams.
Amazing. And I think that is just so entrepreneurial, just even in with that like structure of your teams. It's just sort of like showing that real entrepreneurial skill and like resourcefulness. And I think those are such important things when it comes to building businesses, not necessarily the ability to be able to code.
Yep.
Actually, it's the ability to have a vision, to be able to articulate that vision, to be passionate about it, to be consistent, to be able to bring people along with you for the ride, and really lead those people. And I'm really seeing those within what you're doing, and it's absolutely amazing. So first of all, congratulations for that.
Thank
um,
you.
you've talked to us already about the stack and the tools that you use. Are there any tools that you tried out that you are kind of thinking, "Oh, I'd really like to use that tool for something else in the future," or are you just kind of like sticking to the stack that you've got?
No, we want to branch out a lot. I've tried out so many different stack. I've tried Webflow. We're actually shifting our landing page to Webflow soon because of the animations and the movement of Webflow flow really well. So we are actually shifting that to Webflow, and we will be using Micro. So we use Notion for basically everything on the back end as well. But Micro and Airtable is such a great way to integrate within Notion. So we're definitely adding these stacks into our backend of operating day to day for sure.
Mm,
Yeah.
amazing. Well, I suppose that's a really nice place to sort of wrap things up and say, it's been absolutely great listening to your story, Sandy. And before we go, I wonder if there is any information that you'd like to share with our audience in terms of how they can find you and your business, and anything that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on TikToks, my Instagram at small business tips underscore, and my Twitter is by Sandi Lin. Also, as my personal Instagram is by Sandi Lin as well. Feel free to DM me or email me as small business tips. Anything you want, basically about TikTok, social media marketing, anything.
Great. And I think I will definitely be picking your brains a little bit more about TikTok after this podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, Sandy.
Thank you.
Awesome. So now it is not the end of our live stream today, listeners. We are going to go over to the audience and get some questions from you. So I actually have a question from somebody who contacted me before the session. Unfortunately, wasn't able to come along today. But they wanted some advice for anybody that has a business related to I suppose no code in some way, who wanted to maybe get started on TikTok now, because obviously it is a reasonably oversaturated platform now compared to how it was before. I mean, what advice would you give to maybe someone else from the no code space using TikTok as a platform?
Yeah, I would say find a few creator on TikTok. There are probably only a handful of creator on TikTok that does no code. Find these creator, study them, see what are they doing, what type of presentation style do they have, do they talk, do they dance, do they act, what is their presentation style, and what type of content works well and works doesn't work well, and study that. Look at their comment sessions, see what are people their audience are engaging, what type of question do their audience has. I'll do like kind of like 2-3 day of studying my competitors and also interacting with them. That's going to teach TikTok algorithm who are you trying to interact with. That's going to teach them that, okay, these are the people that you want to be associated with, the tech company, the startup. So TikTok algorithm picked it up really fast. As soon as you start teaching the AI things, you're gonna start seeing your For You page changes. All the content basically you like, it's gonna start showing up. Once you do that, find your niche. Are you gonna be talking about startup, no code, or specific social media? I don't know, but find your niche, find your own voice within TikTok, provide value. But at the same time, don't forget about trend and entertainments, because people on TikTok, they will scroll out if it's not funny. So you need to think about how do you combine providing value at the same time, be funny at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where I lack in things. I mean, I don't do funny as well as other people do. So, yeah, I think you got to have that humor. You've got to have that bit of personality, really, which is so different. And it's not always with everybody in everybody's comfort zone to be able to do that. And I'm really looking forward to watching more of your content. I've seen a little bit, but not too much. I mean, do you interact with other creators then on TikTok? Is it quite interactive like Twitter? And I mean, I'm probably sounding like somebody that's just really dumb to TikTok here
No,
because I
no,
mean, I
no.
genuinely am. Like, what's the deal? Do you make friends on TikTok? Do you?
Oh yeah.
You've got your team from there, obviously.
Yeah, it's kind of like any social media platform. If anything, it was so much easier to make friends on TikTok actually, because everyone started about the same time, and everyone still don't know what the hell is going on. Like we're like, okay, we're just winging it all together. So we have groups of creators that everyone basically know each other in this space, and we became very very close friends, just talking about sponsorship deals, views, just trash about our views all the time and things like that. So there's so much connection that you can make. I make so much meaningful partnerships, network, and also actual like best friends through TikTok actually.
Mm. And is sponsorship something that you guys are getting on TikTok? Are there like companies reaching out? Are you currently sponsored on TikTok?
Yeah, so before it wasn't a lot. Last year, especially toward the end of the year, companies started to see that TikTok's value, especially when Notion popped up on TikTok. When
Mm.
Notion popped off on TikTok was a very, very big deal for the whole space of tech company. Before that, there was a very handful of people that company are looking into TikTok for sponsorship, but TikTok sponsorship are incredibly powerful because the amount of views and interaction that you can generate through eyeballs, and what if it go viral, then it can go 2 million, things like that is crazy. So I'm getting a lot of people asking for sponsorship, especially after the notions popping off on TikTok.
Mm. That's really interesting. And I mean, how do you even go about kind of negotiating things like sponsorship with these large companies, I suppose? You know, yeah, what's the kind of like, I mean, of course, you don't have to talk about exact figures, but like, what's the kind of modeling? Like, how do you decide like how much they should pay or what they should pay for? Or is there a kind of framework that you use?
Yeah, so it was such a headache trying to figure out this because it's such a new platform. And there's so many ways people that are charging people. But now I think that the whole creator are so close together. So we all came up with a system, like a tier-based system, especially in this space of educations, business education, finance education. So it based off of the amount of follower you have, basically, and the engagement, and how powerful is your influence as well. Do you have a company? So first you look at what is your range. If it's under 50K, 100K, 20, 200K, 300K, and 300K above, what is the range? Then you determine what is your worth, right? How strong do you think your impact is to your actual community? When you talk about product, when people actually go and click, I know my community well, so I was able to charge that a little more based off of my value. So it's really based off of everyone's, but I do a lot of comparison between my rate and other creators similar to what I do, the similar following, and then based off my rate from that on.
Amazing. I mean, it's just such an interesting world, this whole kind of like creator economy, and then basically being able to charge by your ability to influence those people around you. I mean, I suppose it is like true influencer marketing in a way. That's kind of like what they're paying for is just access to your channel, to your community. I mean, I don't see it as any different to people paying Google for Google Ads. You know, Google has a network of people that it can reach. Companies pay them ads. You know, if influencers are able to truly influence people to buy, probably way more effectively than a Google ad or Facebook ad campaign ever could, then why shouldn't companies pay creators for the time and effort that creators have spent building up their audiences? So
Yeah,
like fair play. I think it's awesome that you're doing that.
thank you.
So, next question from the audience. About Circle actually.
Hmm.
So, what are the pros and cons of using Circle as opposed to a community management system like Slack? I mean, did
Yeah.
you kind of think about the different community platforms? Do you try a few out? What made you go with Circle?
Yeah, so I like Circle. The interface is super clean and integrated really well with Bubbles, very seamlessly. That's why one of the main reason why we chose Circle, because of the integration between Circle and Bubble together. So it's a great platform to build off of, but the difference, people are not used to go on Circle. People are used to go on Discord, Slack, Facebook. So they're already there. They used to checking it, so they will probably just check your platform when they're there already. On Circle, they have to dedicate time to go on Circle. Building skill need to be very strong in order for them to want to check it there, because it's extra step in their daily routine basically. So that is a pro. The cons, the pro is that the interactions within Circle is the capability of organizations able to actually write out what your thought is, embed video, Loom video, everything like that is much better than all these other community platforms.
Yeah.
But I still think it has a long way to go in order for people to wanting to actually go on Circle.
And what's the pricing structure like on Circle? Are you on a paid tier, on a free tier? How's that looking?
Yeah, so I'm on a pay tier. I'm actually on the $79 tier, but they have a lower tier. I forgot how much is it. But because we are in a single sign on with Bubble, we need to have that higher tier in order to pay for that.
And in terms of like membership for your community, how are people paying monthly for that, or are they paying yearly for that? How does that work for them?
Yeah, so it's yearly and also monthly. For yearly, we will decrease the rate, but monthly is $19.99. But yeah,
I think I think that's a very great offer in terms of
yeah,
value for people that are like coming on and interacting with that. And yeah, it sounds absolutely great. So we've talked about um Circle, we talked about the differences between the different community management. Bubble. Now, are you a bubble builder, or do you have people that build Bubble for you? Now that's the question.
yeah. I wish I could learn Bubble, but my expertise, I really strongly believe that stay in your lane and hire people that know how to do it better than you do. So you can stay focused on what you know. So I know how to distribute. I know how to run a company, but I don't know how to build. I really don't. I think I have a good eye. I know how to do the back end. I know how to build a simple thing. But if you tell me to build up entire e-learning platform, I won't be able to do that. So I have a Bubble agency that actually linked to Bubble, and I scouted them through Bubble, I believe, and they built it out for me.
Amazing. Well, again, it's just a sign of your resourcefulness as an entrepreneur. And I would say that distribution is definitely the most difficult thing to do out of all the skills when it comes to business. There are many people that can build products. It's getting easier and easier to build products. The thing is that if no one ever sees your product, doesn't matter how good it is
Exactly.
never going to sell. So I think that's great. And I mean, it's been great having you on, Sandy. And thank you to everybody who has tuned in, asked questions, and listened along. And yeah, we will catch you all very soon.
Thank you.